I guess now we're back into the present. What do you guys want for dinner? Lauren bit her lip and slipped it through the pantry, trying to push the bad memories to the back of her mind. She looked over at the other three girls and raised an eyebrow when she saw the unreadable expression on Allie's face. For a second I was like, is Camila still around? But she left. They kicked her out. They tossed her out like last week's trash. I wonder if she's okay. The oldest girl finally spoke up. Lauren rolled her eyes almost immediately. Oh, that is Allie, though. She's either completely stoned or drunk off her ass. Lauren ran a hand through her hair. Or both. Who knows? Just forget about her. That's what I'm doing. She grabbed a box of pasta and held it up for the other girls to see. Does this work? Oh, is that why you're so upset about it? Because you've forgotten about her? Okay. You're getting a little worked up there, Lauren. Only if it's cooked. Dinah, I hate you so much. I'm kidding, I love you, but still. Dinah teased, and Lauren threw the box at the younger girl. I would have just thrown the box at her, but like, dig in, this is for you. Shut up, she laughed, pointing to the stove. Make yourself useful and boil some water. The other girl raised a playful eyebrow at Lauren and set the box down on the counter, bending down to grab a pot from the bottom of the cabinets. Ooh, she's bending. Dinah and Lauren made dinner while Normani and Allie busied themselves by blasting music throughout the apartment. Their apartment was essentially one big room. The living room, kitchen, and office were all in the main living area of the apartment. There were 4 bedrooms up the spiral staircase and 2 bathrooms across the hall. Damn, what kind of apartment is this? Do these kind of actually exist? Because, man, they live luxurious in New York. Dinner's ready, Lauren called, banging a spoon against the pot of spaghetti so the other girls could hear over the music. Normani and Allie came running in, and Lauren handed them both their plates. The 4 girls grabbed their drinks and made their way into the living room, collapsing on the couch after a long day. I mean, I guess I'd be exhausted too after. It's Lauren's turn to pick, Dinah noted, pointing at the TV remote. Lauren set her plate down and took the remote from her roommate. She started searching through Netflix, trying to find something to watch. I feel like they have like a board. They're like, okay, Lauren gets TV today, Dinah gets it this day. And I feel like they have a... Nobody gets it here, Allie here. Are you guys cool with is she gonna say Friends? Oh, where's Camila? She loves that show. Lauren paused when she saw that her roommate's attention wasn't on her. She raised an eyebrow. What? Shh, Allie whispered, raising a finger to her lips and then pointing to the door. Do you hear that? It's a dog. Lauren grew silent and listened along with the other girls. Just as she was about to argue that she didn't hear anything, there was a quiet noise from the other side of the door. It sounded like singing. What is that? She whispered, standing up from her spot on the couch. Obviously, Camila's desperate and she's singing to you. She's trying to serenade you. She's trying to love you, but you won't reciprocate. Don't tell me it's...
Nosferatu!
Lauren was interrupted once more when Dinah, already at the door, waved her hand to tell Lauren to be quiet. Y'all acting like it's a killer who sings. Hey, She slowly opened the door and peered out into the hallway. The Polynesian girl's eyes widened when she saw Camila sitting in the hallway, leaning against the wall next to their door and humming softly to herself. Oh, now Lo, that's just sad. I mean, come on now. What are you still doing here? Dinah hissed at the smaller girl. Camila jumped, obviously unaware that she'd been spotted. I need a bed, Camila shrugged before Dinah could respond. She crawled onto her legs into the apartment, stumbling up to her feet and looking around happily. Do you have a bed? What's happening? She's for real just crawling. I can't. She's like a puppy. Oh my gosh. Allie grabbed Dinah's arm and pulled her into the kitchen along with the other girls. Something's up, she said, glancing back at the girl who was now intently observing the TV remote. She's just like, what is this? What is this? I'm kidding, but... She needs to leave, Lauren said firmly, loudly enough for Camila to hear her. She didn't care if something was wrong. She wanted her gone. She didn't want to offer any hospitality to the girl who had single-handedly made her life a living hell. We can call the fucking cops or something. Lo. Allie shook her head. Something's obviously wrong if she ended up here. She glanced at the 2 other girls, silently asking for some sort of help. We should at least try and figure out why she's here, Normani spoke up, placing a hand on Lauren's arm. Then we can take her back home or something. There, finally, some logic. Normani is always the voice of reason in these stories. I appreciate you, Normani. Dinah and Lauren looked at one another, and Dinah sighed softly. It's worth a try, I guess, she said, raising an eyebrow at Lauren, who shrugged. Whatever, she mumbled. I'm going to bed. I don't feel like dealing with her. Lauren pushed past the other girls and grabbed her backpack from next to the door. Moments later, her footsteps were heard, and her bedroom door shut with a bang. Camila stopped what she was doing to cover her ears and look around worriedly. The three roommates quickly exchanged glances before walking into the living room. Allie sat down on the couch next to Camila while Normani and Dinah remained standing. Where do you live, Camila? Allie asked, turning and looking at the confused girl. Here. Camila smiled proudly, pointing to the couch and patting it gently. This is my bed. What? Dinah and Normani raised their eyebrows. Allie quickly shook her head. You don't live here. She glanced at her other two roommates and then back to Camila. Where did you come from? The plane. So someone just put her on a plane? What? Camila nodded, remembering what she had done earlier. See? She reached into her front pocket and frowned when she came up empty-handed. Quickly, the small girl stood up and reached into her back pocket, giggling excitedly when she found what she was looking for. She's like a small child. Allie took the crumbled up piece of paper from Camila and unfolded it, turning it around in her hand so it was right side up. She scanned the words and her jaw dropped, noticing the change in her expression. Normani and Dinah crouched down next to her and read the writing on the paper. A plane ticket? Normani asked, turning to Camila. The girl nodded excitedly, practically bouncing up and down on the couch. I came to see my friends, she smiled, pointing to them with both of her fingers. We had chemistry together, remember? Oh, wow. Something's definitely up, Allie whispered to her roommates between gritted teeth. None of them had a clue what was going on. Camila, how did you know where we lived? This is what I want to know. How did she get this plane ticket? What happened on the plane? Camila thought for a moment, petting her hand on her knee and feeling the material of her jeans. This. She suddenly realized, reaching into her other pocket and handing her phone to Allie. The oldest girl studied the iPhone, unlocking it to see a picture of Camila and two other cheerleaders. Okay. Are these your friends? She asked, holding out the phone and showing Camila the lock screen. Upon seeing the picture, the girl's face twisted into a face of confusion. No, she shook her head. Her eyebrows suddenly furrowed, and she took the phone back, holding it inches away from her face and studying the picture even closer. They're not my friends. She's like, they're not my friends, you are. Come on, get it together. She confirmed, setting the phone on the cushion next to her. Dinah sat next to Allie, and Normani sat on the coffee table, so she was facing all three girls. Camila, cut the crap, Dinah said firmly, sending the girl a warning glare. Why are you here? Camila pouted, sticking out her bottom lip and staring up at the ceiling in thought. Oh yeah, she nodded, holding up her finger to show she'd remember something. I came here on a plane, see? She reached into her pocket and frowned. She went to reach into her back pocket, but Allie reached out to stop her. I'm sorry, that's not funny, but I'm cracking up. You told us already, Allie reminded her, holding up the crumpled plane ticket. The flight had happened that same day, which told the girls that Camila had flown here with the intention of seeing them. Her reason was still unknown, though. Oh, Camila took the plane ticket from Allie's hands and studied it closely, running her fingers over the folded corners. I need a bed, she nodded and pointed to the large window in the back of the apartment. It's getting dark. Oh my fucking god, Dinah groaned and motioned for Allie to scoot over. The oldest girl obeyed, and Dinah switched places on the couch so she was sitting next to Camila. She was about to murder her. We were about to see some choking. Dinah grabbed Camila by the shoulders. Oh, I was close. And held her firmly in front of her. Why are you here? She asked, keeping her voice strong and intimidating. Camila lifted her shoulders, cowering under the Polynesian girl's touch. She shook her head and pushed Dinah's hands off of her. Please, she murmured, shaking her head and scooting back on the couch. Please what? Normani asked, holding out a hand to tell Dinah to pause for a moment. Please, Camila repeated, shaking her head once more. Dinah and Normani looked at one another, and Dinah groaned. Camila, what's going on? Dinah tried once more to get some sort of answer out of the smaller girl. It's getting dark. Camila pointed at the window once more. And I need a bed, she added, looking down at her jeans and patting her palms gently on her lap. Allie placed a hand on Dinah's shoulder, and the Polynesian girl turned around to face her. Normani stood up and sat on the arm of the couch so all three of them could talk. I mean, y'all might as well if it's dark. Y'all can't just throw Camila out on the street. Come on. What are we supposed to do with her? Normani was the first to speak up, glancing back at the girl on the other side of the couch who was poking at the buttons on the TV remote once more. She's like, ooh, what does this do? Y'all gotta control her. Y'all gotta child-proof the apartment ASAP, or she's gonna get into a mess. She's gonna get into a mess. I'm saying. Allie shook her head and sighed. I don't know, but this feels like something out of a crappy reality show. She ran a hand through her hair and glanced in the direction of Lauren's room, wondering how the green-eyed girl was feeling about this whole situation. Do you have a bed? All three girls jumped when they realized Camila had stood up and poked her head into their conversation. I need a bed, the girl repeated, reaching up and smoothing out her own hair. Dinah rolled her eyes in defeat and stood up. Fine, Camila, she sighed. One night. You can stay for one night, and then you go home, okay? She glanced at Allie and Normani, asking for some type of approval. Maybe if she just gave Camila what she wanted, the girl would leave the next morning. Yes, but I need a bed. Camila clapped her hands together and reached up to twirl the ends of Dinah's hair around her fingers. Dinah hid her hand away and Camila gasped, looking down at her hand and holding it close to her chest. Ignoring the small girl's dramatic reaction, Dinah bit her lip. Is this okay? She whispered, bending down next to Allie and Normani. Allie nodded softly. Whatever is going on, she seems different. We can at least give her the benefit of the doubt for one night, right? Allie said, looking to Normani for her approval. Normani puckered her lips for a moment before nodding. I don't see why not. The dark-skinned girl shrugged, glancing at Camila. Where is she sleeping, though? On the floor. On the foot of the bed. Dinah huffed, forgetting that one very important factor. I thought she already claimed the couch. I'm confused. She sighed and stood up, turning to Camila. You can sleep in my room for tonight. She nodded once. Camila hopped up on her tiptoes in some sort of expression of excitement. Bed, she nodded. Dinah looked back at the other two girls, who looked completely shocked. She bent down next to them once more and laughed softly. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, right? She raised an eyebrow. Allie chuckled softly and shrugged. Just try to be nice, okay? The older girl asked, and Dinah nodded slowly. All right, Cabello, let's get you that bed you want so badly. She sighed, standing up and grabbing Camila's hand. Before the smaller girl could respond, Dinah was pulling her towards the spiral staircase. Camila paused at the bottom stair, taking her bottom lip between her teeth. I don't have all day, Cabello, Dinah groaned, tugging Camila's hand. The smaller girl hesitantly took one step on the stairs. She gripped the railing with her other hand. Ouch, Camila mumbled, looking down at her feet. Dinah sighed and tugged Camila's hand once more. Ouch, 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 Camila muttered with each step, but eventually they made it to the top of the staircase. Camila immediately clapped her hands, reaching for the first doorknob she saw. She died. Like, what happened with her feet? Why are her feet hurting? She stepped on glass. Is she even wearing shoes right now? I don't even know. Dinah quickly grabbed her by the shoulder and pulled her back away from Lauren's room. That was the last thing Camila needed to do. That's not my room, Dinah pointed to the next door over. That is. Oh, Camila already knows which room Lauren's is, I see. Clapped her hands excitedly and jigged the doorknob violently until it opened. She walked slowly into Dinah's room, observing the posters and memorabilia that hung on her walls. Bed, she noted, pointing to the king-size bed in the corner of the room. Now that I'm reading this, she's giving me like 11 from Stranger Things vibes, where she doesn't know what things are. She's just now like, it's like she was kept in a room her whole life, and then now she's like learning what things are again. Or for the first time, whatever. She noted, pointing to the king-size bed in the corner of the room.
I see a king-size bed in the corner where you should run to it.
Was she reading this when she was inspired by those lyrics? Wait. wait. I can't. That's funny. There's a king-size bed in the corner. I want to get in. I need to take a moment. This is hitting me hard. Camila just exposed herself. She just exposed herself that she reads Camren fanfic. It's right here. The proof is in the pudding, guys. I'm not making this up. Dinah sighed and shut the door behind them. That's a bed, yeah. she mumbled, walking over to her dresser. Where's your bag? Camila looked at her cluelessly. Did you bring a suitcase or something? Dinah suddenly realized Camila had been empty-handed when she entered the apartment. I came on a plane. Camila nodded, reaching into her pocket. Dinah rolled her eyes, grabbing Camila's hand before she could realize she didn't have the plane ticket for the second time. I know, you told us. Dinah nodded, growing slightly frustrated with how she was acting. Something was definitely wrong. Here. She turned back to her dresser and found a t-shirt and pajama pants that would fit the smaller girl. You can wear these for the night. Camila giggled excitedly, hugging the clothing to her chest. She brought the t-shirt to her nose and inhaled, smelling their detergent. Do I change? She asked, holding up the shirt for Dinah to see. Oh, if she strips naked right there. I can imagine. That's gonna happen, isn't it? The Polynesian girl nodded, turning to the door to show Camila where the bathroom was. But Camila beat her to it, and when Dinah was about to lead her out into the hallway, she turned back around to find Camila in only her shirt, underwear, and shoes. Oh, see, I told you, but look, okay, now we got shoes. So she is wearing shoes. But they're probably worn out, I bet. I knew she was going to just strip down like that. I knew it. See, this is definitely 11 from Stranger Things. The girl was tugged angrily at the pants, trying to pull them on over her black Converse. Dinah sighed and closed the door once more, walking over to Camila and grabbing her hands. You have to take your shoes off. She pointed to the black shoes on Camila's feet. Ouch. Camila shook her head and pulled away from Dinah. Ouch. Dinah raised an eyebrow. Ouch. She asked, pointing down to Camila's shoes. Camila nodded. Sit down, Dinah instructed, pointing to the bed. Camila did as she was told, with a wide smile on her face. Dinah knelt down in front of her and pulled on the shoelaces to untie them. No, ouch! Camila protested, pulling her foot away from Dinah. The Polynesian girl grew frustrated and grabbed Camila's foot again, gripping it tightly despite the girl's protests. She slipped the first shoe off of her foot and gasped. Ouch! Camila pouted, her bottom lip trembling. This time, Dinah nodded in agreement. Camila's sock was stained red, with holes in the bottom where small shards of glass had wedged themselves into her foot. I knew something was happening. Dinah checked the shoe, but it appeared as if the shoe had been put on after the glass was already in her foot. How did this happen? Dinah asked, gripping the girl's other ankle and pulling off the second shoe. Ouch! Camila nodded, as if it were a perfectly good explanation for Dinah's question. Dinah groaned. So do you think she didn't even know where they lived? She was just going from, apartment. She was just searching all of New York trying to find them. Or asking people if they've seen them. I wonder if she had, a picture of them. She was like, here, have you seen these people? First of all, was the glass after she was off the plane? How long ago was she on the plane? Did she get on the plane already with her shoes like that? But first of all, don't they do wouldn't they have scanned that and seen that there was glass in her? I mean, I've only been on a plane once. But they make you take your shoes and socks off. So this had to have happened after, while she was in New York, right? But how long has she been in New York? Did she just get in this day? I'm confused. I need answers. I have questions for you. Number 1. I'm going to try and get these out, okay? She asked, nodding to the pieces of glass in Camila's foot. The smaller girl shook her head furiously. No, hurt. She furrowed her eyebrows. If I don't take them out, it'll get infected and you'll get sick. Dinah huffed, standing up and walking over to her nightstand. Will I die? Yes, Dinah lied. Too tired to try and reason with the girl, she regretted her decision immediately, though. Camila let out an ear-piercing screech, and Dinah dived across the bed to cup her hand over the girl's mouth. You're not going to die, she shook her head. I was kidding. It was a joke. She was like, joke? What's a joke? Camila pursed her lips against Dinah's hand out of confusion. Oh, she mumbled when the other girl drew her hand away. She thought about it for a few moments before giggling at the joke. Dinah just shook her head and slipped out of the hallway, searching through the medicine cabinet until she found what she needed. Camila was still sitting in the exact same place when Dinah came back, which she was thankful for. This is going to hurt a bit, but I have to do it. Otherwise, it will only hurt more in the long run. Oh, we love Mother Dinah. Dinah explained, sitting back down on the floor and laying a paper towel down next to her. I don't want to run. Camila shook her head. You don't have to. Dinah rolled her eyes, deciding she was speaking to a child instead of Camila. It may hurt, but when it's over, you can play a game on my phone, okay? I mean, game? Yeah, Dinah nodded. Camila clapped her hands excitedly, and Dinah took that as her cue to keep going. Slowly, she rolled Camila's socks off of each foot. The girl on the bed winced each time, but surprisingly kept quiet. She tried to play those games. Why did you come here? Dinah asked, trying again to get some sort of information out of the girl. Using a pair of tweezers, she lifted Camila's foot and slowly removed a piece of glass from her heel. Ouch! Needed a bed. Camila mumbled, crinkling her nose and trying to lean over and look down at her foot. I know that, Dinah said, continuing to remove the glass from the bottom of her foot, setting the pieces on the paper towel next to her. But didn't you already have a bed? Camila shook her head. Ouch! She muttered once more. Dinah sighed, giving up on getting any answers. Once she removed every piece of glass she could find, she poured a few drops of hydrogen peroxide onto a cotton ball and glanced up at Camila. Uh-oh. This is gonna sting a bit, she warned, pressing the cotton ball on the open wounds and beginning to clean the dried blood on the bottom of her foot. Camila whimpered from above her but remained silent. See, all done. Dinah nodded, satisfied with her attempt at cleaning the wound. Game? Camila asked, remembering what Dinah had told her earlier. Not yet, Dinah shook her head. I have to finish bandaging these. She grabbed the gauze she bought from the bathroom and went to work on covering the cuts on Camila's feet, making sure to use antibiotic ointment to keep them from getting infected. Once she was finished bandaging, she stood up and retrieved a pair of large socks from her dresser, hoping they would fit loosely over the gauze. Camila frowned as Dinah slipped the socks over the bandages. Ouch, she shook her head. It's gonna hurt for a while. That's just how it's gonna be. Dinah took a deep breath, trying her best to remain patient. She regretted not passing the girl off to Normani or Allie. But could they have handled Camila any better? Game? Dinah pointed to the change of clothes next to Camila. Once you change. She nodded once, and Camila grabbed the clothes. She stood up slowly, testing the bandages on her feet. She clapped her hands when she realized her wounds didn't hurt her as badly as they did before. Camila struggled for a few minutes, but finally managed to get her pants and t-shirt on. Dinah had to stop herself from laughing when she realized the pants were on backwards, but decided against saying anything. Here. She handed Camila her phone and crawled into her bed. Moments later, Camila bounced up on the bed and was curled up smack dab next to Dinah. She held the phone close to her face, tapping at the screen aimlessly. Camila, I can't. Dinah groaned and pushed the girl off of her. This is my side of the bed, she mumbled, placing a pillow in between them. Camila opened her mouth to protest, but Dinah glared at her, causing the smaller girl to set the phone back down and burrow under the covers. Ignoring the humming noises from Camila, Dinah turned so her back was facing the other girl and closed her eyes. All four roommates fell asleep with a million questions circulating their heads that night. Me too, I have questions. That was chapter 1, everybody. I mean, if you want to see any more of these, let me know. So yeah, I hope you like this video. Until next time, peace.